Good morning. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning, John.
This is the Browns Fanatical Elfz Pregame show as we look at the Browns, versus the Saints.
Oh, wow.
In just a little bit. And thanks for being here on the Fanatical Elfz Network. We are live right now on YouTube, Facebook, the X, and if you're listening to us, hopefully in a little bit on Apple, on Spotify, thank you very much. That's how Steve and I make the big bucks here. Good morning again. And Steve, you excited about this afternoon's game coming up in about an hour and 18 minutes?
Can you truly say you're excited?
No.
I would put it more as curious.
Yes. I'm going to open up my Diet Coke here. So if you hear me opening up a can, it's not beer. It's Diet Coke.
Well, I wouldn't blame you if you did.
Curious is a good word, right? Yeah.
Curious, kind of like when you're driving down the interstate and you see an accident on the other side and you slow down just to look. Kind of like that.
Yes. I've been debating all morning, like, okay, so if the Browns lay an egg, I'm being the pessimist here, am I going to torture myself and sit through this the entire way, or should I? It's nice here, in the Buckeye State today. Maybe I go out and go golfing with my son Grant. I'm debating by 2:30 or 3. I might know what I'm gonna do.
Might be sooner than that. You never know. Yeah, it's a gorgeous day here. It's going to go up to 70 degrees after starting at about 42 this morning. Up on the plateau, it was in the mid to lower 30s. That's east of here, the Cumberland Plateau.
Okay.
So, beautiful day. Sun's out.
Very nice. Well,
I'll stay in and watch the Cleveland Browns.
Now, don't the Titans play? They have a pretty. Who do they play today? They
host the Vikings.
The Vikings. That's right. I saw the TV map, and yes, the whole the upper Midwest will be watching that game along. That'll be on your local TV up there, but you have other ways to watch the Brownies play.
Yes, I do.
So, all right. So let's just a couple things since you and I talked on Thursday in the Fanatical Elfz show. Thursday nights, check us at 8:00. Michael Hall, you had mentioned him because you were looking forward to watching him maybe take on and substitute in for Darius Smith, but Michael Hall got injured Thursday with a knee injury. Yeah. You know any more details on that?
No, but he was placed on IR. So that's not good.
No.
So the Samuel Kamara is back, and some other guy I'd never heard of. But, you still got – it's going to be interesting. I'll put it to you that way.
Who are they going to put who will start on that side?
Well, Tomlinson will start. And you still got Shelby Harris and the ever-vanishing Maurice Hurst.
The belly rub guy?
Yeah, you haven't noticed him at all, have you?
No.
Haven't seen him a lot. Hopefully he can step up today. And then you got Okoronkwo and Isaiah McGuire, who has really stepped up over the last weeks at one end. And, of course, Myles Garrett's going to be lining up against a rookie who has allowed 5 sacks and 27 pressures. So
that could bode well for us.
That could bode very well for us. Only thing they have to do on defense is not bite on the play action, which Derek Carr runs very well.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he is 4-1 against the Browns and won his last 4.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got to take Alvin Kamara out of the game.
Right.
He leads the Saints in receptions, receiving yards, rushing yards, and he leads the entire league in offensive touches. So that tells you how important he is to the New Orleans Saints offense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I just wish JOK was playing. I wouldn't sweat this out as much if JOK was playing because he was having a phenomenal year. I think that game against the Chargers would have been a lot closer if JOK had been in there. So,
yeah.
I mean, we'll see what happens. At least Jordan Hicks is back. That's good news.
Okay.
Veteran who can identify offensive sets and will do the play calling. So that's a lot better.
Do we have any more like long-term news about JOK? Because I've heard various reports.
It's a neck injury.
Yeah.
And you're not going to hear anything about it. I hope he can come back.
Yeah.
They only have 8 call-ups from IR and PUP and non-football injury list, and they've already used 5.
Yeah.
And they've got 3 more for the year. You got to figure Charlie Hewlett might be one of them.
Oh, 3 more? Okay.
Yeah, you can only do 8.
Yeah.
A lot of people criticize the Browns for not activating Naheem Hines, but you've already done 8, and you've got 8 games left. So, I mean, you've done 5, you got 3 more.
Yeah.
1 possible JOK, 1 possible Charlie Hewlett, and that only leaves you 1.
Yeah.
So if they had used it, they would be down to 2 with 8 games left. And you're getting into the late part of the season where a lot of injuries happen. So
yeah,
that's how much the injury bug hurt this team at the beginning of the year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The Saints in this game, they come off a relatively big win for them. They had their new coach, interim coach, Darren Rizzi, a fiery guy. They get another home game against us Brownies. So they'll be fired up. The one advantage I was talking about in my latest article for Fans First, in my first and goal report, was Joe Woods. And, you and I've talked about Joe, and statistically, I'd share just a few things. His defenses have not been very good against the run. And I think currently they're ranked 27th or 26th with the Saints. He was similar pattern with the Brownies when he was here, and that was part of the reason why he departed. So, they had 181 yards rushing last week. The Falcons did against the Saints. And I see that as I'm going to be paying attention to that. If the Browns cannot establish the run early in this game, I will be pissed.
Well, they need to use Jerome Ford more.
Okay.
He averages 5.7 yards a carry this season.
Yeah.
I mean, I know everybody wants to see Nick Chubb, and I want to see Nick Chubb do well.
Yeah.
But he is not going to be completely himself until next year.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take advantage of Jerome Ford while you got him.
Okay.
Dante Foreman is inactive, so you've got.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah. So you've got.
Did they come out with that list just in the last couple minutes? Okay.
Yeah. Surprise! Jedrick Wills makes another business decision.
Yeah, I saw that. Well, they said that last night that he somehow snagged his leg, or
he's lost his starting job, so he's going to sit on the bench and pout.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's just get a good compensatory pick for him next year when he leaves.
Right. I was trying to find who else is on that list. I was just looking for it.
The new corner they just signed.
Okay.
And Jaden Daniels, the return guy.
Yes.
He's on it. So that tells me Tony is going to be returning punts.
Okay.
That's one thing I'm curious to see. The guy is super. He can be super talented and super fast, and he can make dumb decisions every once in a while. So I want to see the super fast punt returner. I think this guy could help the return game if he doesn't do anything stupid.
He had a few moments.
Pierre Strong is the other running back they have got available.
Who is?
Pierre Strong.
Oh, yes.
Wouldn't mind seeing more of him. I love this kid.
Oh, right. Yeah, we've been talking to him for a whole 2 seasons now. Yeah. Definitely. I feel like I still think Chubb will be the main guy.
Oh, yeah.
In there, but
This is a great game for him to get a little play under his belt, get a little more therapy, as I call it, in because their run defense stinks.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Joe Woods just, he, interestingly enough, I was looking back at his history, not that those of you who live in Ohio, his first gig was at Muskingum College way back in the day in the 90s, which is a school just to the east of here over in Newark, Ohio. Newark. I always say it funny, or people that I work with actually are from that area. So we talk about. Anyhow, that's where he started. He started here in Ohio at a small little D3 school, Muskingum College. So anywho, I see the Browns, really that could be very important in this game. And Tony, just seeing what he can do, like he had those moments in the past when wasn't he right? He was with the Chiefs last year, had a few shining moments.
Yeah, he's like I said, he can be super talented, but then every once in a while he makes a dumb mistake.
Mm-hmm. Where else do you see the Browns
Which should probably be the title of the 2024 Cleveland Browns highlights. Super talented dude who make dumb mistakes.
Well, that's been
2024 Cleveland Browns.
So, I mean, that topic has come up like with this whole talent that the Browns have this talent. A lot of it was on injured reserve at the beginning of the season. I mean, you can't help it. I mean, that's why let's not go to West Virginia. Well, again. And the fine line between, like we've already established this. We talked about it Thursday a little bit. It's such a fine line in the NFL. I mean, these guys are all the best of the best. And it's just about executing and motivation and things like that I feel it really comes down to every Sunday. And gosh, you think about the Saints. I mean, they started the season off with a bang. I mean, they were scoring thousands of points.
91 points in the first two games.
Right. Yeah.
They boat raced Carolina and then they boat raced the Cowboys.
Yeah. So, right. And then they give up.
Then they lost 7 in a row.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm holding my hope out that the Browns offense can get more than 20 points in this game. The Falcons had almost 500 yards of total offense a week ago and still lost. But the other thing
kicker.
Yes,
he missed 3 easy field goals. Oh my God!
Let's not wish upon, knock on wood, that Hopkins isn't in the same boat. But that's right. Gosh. Well, I had a thought and I lost it. I hate that when that happens.
Oh, John,
I do that, as I'm turning the double nickels here in a couple weeks. So 55.
Oh, give me a break.
I know.
I'm 66.
Okay.
Mute ears.
Yes. The gosh, what was my thought? And I can't claim it. All right, Steve, where else do the Browns have advantages in this game? Or where will they win this game? What would be the keys to a victory?
On offense, Jameis
out of my thought, by the way. So, okay.
All right. On offense, Jameis Winston stays within the game plan. We got to kind of throw out the Chargers game. We know that the Harbaugh brothers talk to each other. Mm-hmm. And the Chargers defense is a lot better than I thought they were. So they knew what was coming. Yeah. And they just couldn't get anything going. Then he started taking chances in the second half and threw 3 picks.
Yeah.
He's got to play within the game plan, remain calm. They got to run the ball. This is the perfect team to do it. Protect Winston because they're going to be coming because they've given up on average about 5 sacks a game. The Browns have. But again, this is the 3rd game in a row where he's going to have the same 5 starting offensive linemen. So that's good. On D, and like I said, the Saints, they've got 12 interceptions and they got Honey Badger back there roaming around, who leads the team in picks. So there are some rookies you can pick on, but you got to get past that pass rush. For the year, they were averaging a 21% pressure rate. Against the Falcons, they geared it up to 50%. So
Wow.
they're going to put the pressure.
Mm-hmm.
On defense, just know where Alvin Kamara is at all times. Don't
Mm-hmm.
fall for the play action, and
Mm-hmm.
put pressure on Derek Carr. His QBR drops like from about 110, 115
Mm-hmm.
down to 81 when you pressure.
Okay. Speaking of interceptions, you mentioned 12 for the Saints. The Browns have 1 as a team this year. 1. They are minus, I want to say -7 right now, or -9 in the takeover ratio.
Yeah,
Now,
the Saints are +4.
right now, interestingly, I would have thought that last year they would have been better, but they were actually -9 as a team last year and won 11 games. I always go back to that one year. I think Joe Woods was in town, and we were like a plus a dozen, or we were really having a great year with the turnovers, and that led to our playoff run. That was the year we went to the playoffs. We beat Pittsburgh. We beat them twice.
2020.
Yeah. And since then, though, we've really struggled to turn people over. We've only, like I said, have 1 interception and forced 4 fumbles. That's five takeaways as a team through 9 games.
Yeah.
Which is just not good.
No.
Obviously, when you look at that giveaway, takeaway stuff, the best teams tend to creep up to the top of those rankings. And the Browns right now, I think, are number 27 or 28 in that department. So they have been so damn close. So many opportunities where through several games.
Dropped about 9 interceptions.
Right? I mean, exactly.
Is
that coaching, or is that just executing on the?
Well, that's players. I mean, and then all the media was talking about how they had and asking them why aren't you getting turnovers? Then they turn around and they play a game, and their first thought is strip the ball, and they don't tackle, and the guy runs for another 15 yards. So then everybody gets mad because they have bad tackling. Okay, turnovers will come. Just stick to the fundamentals. Stick to tackling. Right. I mean, I watched the Ohio State game
totally agree
yesterday, and that kid that they stole from Alabama, Caleb Downs. Yes. I mean, he is a phenomenal tackler. He took on that big tight end. If he did not tackle him, that was a touchdown.
Yes.
And he wrapped him up and dropped him. Mm-hmm. You see, it
is really fundamental. No, and it's just annoying as hell, because
it is.
These guys are supposed to be the best and the best, and they're not. And they're failing in that department, and it just drives.
They get this mindset that they got to get the ball. They got to turn the ball over. Yeah. No, tackle first. Yeah. Turnovers will come.
Let's pause for a quick break. This is the Fanatical Elfz pregame show, where we're talking about the Browns versus the Saints. We'll be right back. Okay, we're back here on the pregame show between the Browns and the Saints. I'm Johnny Cleveland, and that's Steve Gill with the Dog Pound South podcast. Thanks for listening to our other shows. I've got the Johnny Cleveland show. We got we'll have a post-game show, rain or shine today. I may be at the golf course, but I'll be back.
So you're going to do the show while you're golfing?
Why not? No. Well, we will do a post-game show. We really appreciate it. I know this has been a real struggle for Browns fans. I know, even our audio downloads have been down a little bit, Steve, the last few weeks. And, people are frustrated. Fans we're expecting a lot of a very different outcome at this point, and it's not looking very good. What do the Browns fans, what do you think we should hold on to as fans? What do you hold on to as you look at these last 8 games?
Well, I just want him to play well, Mm-hmm. I went to a store the other day. I think it was Saturday. Yeah, yesterday. And the guy noticed my Browns hoodie. And he goes, "My condolences." And he goes, "My wife is a Browns fan." And I went, "Well, I'm not going to wish her condolences because I'm a Browns fan."
Yes. Right.
So I just want to see I want to see improvement. I say this every week, and we saw it for the Ravens game, but there were circumstances that I didn't really know how bad the Ravens pass defense was.
Mhm.
And since then, it's been proven how bad the Ravens' pass defense is.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what Russell Wilson does against them today. That's going to be interesting.
Mm.
But they're terrible. So I just want to see a good game. I want to see how Jameis Winston reacts to being back in New Orleans. Usually, players who have played there and go back and play for another team do well.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how Nick Chubb. I think that's what a lot of Browns fans they want to see when Nick Chubb is going to break out. Everybody's hoping it's going to be a game. This might be the game to do it.
Yes.
And also, now that Myles Garrett had 3 sacks against the Chargers, I'm really curious how he's going to do against this rookie left tackle. I mean, everybody talks about, well, this kid handled Micah Parsons. Well, Micah Parsons lines up all over the defensive line. Myles Garrett has been lining up over the left tackle over 82% of the time this year. Okay. So he's going to get a healthy dose of the reigning defensive player of the year.
Yes.
And Tony, I want to see what happens on these punt and kick returns, especially punt returns.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Very curious.
Historically, I found it interesting that the Browns hold a 13-6 lifetime series against them. The series started in 1967, and they won the first 8 games. The Browns did.
Yep.
And since then, of course, they've gone 5-6. They lost the last 2 times. Yep. The last time being 2 years ago in Cleveland, when it was ice cold and they couldn't move the ball very well with Deshaun Watson. It was his first game back, or first couple games back. The last time they beat the Saints was down there, if I recall. I'm trying to think you know what happened in that game? It was 2010 was the last time the Browns won down in New Orleans, and this little known linebacker guy picked off 2 interceptions. Do you recall? I have his name on the article I wrote, but I can't think of it at this very moment. But he had 2 pick sixes that helped the Browns win that game 30-17, maybe. Yeah, it was. Let me find the name of the guy. Let me pull up my article. This might ring a bell. He was
2010.
2010, and it was David Bowens, little known line Bowens, Bowens. He had 2 pick sixes in that game. That Browns jumped on top of them really early, and I think they got up like 27-3 or something after they had the 2 interceptions. So they didn't do a lot offensively, but they didn't need to because their defense really won that game. So that was in.
Well, I've witnessed 2 wins down there. Personally.
Have you? Okay.
Yep. 1999, very first one.
Okay. Yes.
Timmy, Hail Mary. Kevin Johnson, Mike Ditka sprawled out on the field. Yes. And then 2002, Dennis Northcutt went crazy.
Okay. So
he did everything in that game. That 2002 season was incredible. I witnessed when the Browns came here and beat the Titans in overtime. Steve McNair and
was that
Phil
Tim
Dawson.
Couch? Tim Couch was quarterbacking most of that season, but then Kelly Holcomb came in, right?
Well, Kelly Holcomb started that season. Then, he broke a itty bitty bone in his ankle.
Okay,
one of the famous Butch Davis quotes of all time.
Okay,
itty bitty bone in his. He's fine. It was just an itty bitty bone. And as a matter of fact, that was his first start that year. I think Tim Couch. They came down here, and it was incredible. So
that's the same season the Browns made it into the playoffs and played the Squealers, and Dennis Northcutt had an opportunity to probably extend the drive that might have secured victory.
And he dropped the ball.
But
then again, they were playing a prevent defense.
Yes,
from Faggio, the defensive coordinator.
Yeah. All right. Well. I did want to mention this next. So we've got the Browns playing today, and then the Browns turn around and they play Thursday night, a home game against the Squealers here. By the way, we will, if you're watching us right now, and I will be providing information on the X and other social media platforms, we are going to have 2 tickets for that game, Steve. So if you're interested, if you are a Browns fan, and I know we're not having the greatest season of all time, but we have 2 tickets, free tickets, that we're going to give away for that game.
Nice.
So if you are listening, or if you want to participate, we'll have a little contest. If you repost and follow us here on the Fanatical Elfz Network on the X, we will enter you in a drawing later on this week. We'll announce that winner probably, I'm thinking, Monday night, Steve or Lou and I do our Stirring the Pot show. I might wait till maybe Tuesday to announce the winner. So I might be coming to you like on a Johnny Cleveland podcast. So I'll let everybody know. So anywho, Steve, final thoughts today before we let you go?
Everybody enjoy their Sunday.
Yes.
That's all I got.
Yes. That's all we can hope for.
That's all we can hope for.
Let's hope we have smiles.
If the Browns look bad, I think Michigan and Ohio State are playing for the Big Ten championship in men's soccer. So,
there you go.
Number 1 Ohio State versus number 7 Michigan. So
I had
if
no
you feel
idea.
like, oh, this is terrible, switch over to the Big Ten network, and
that's right.
You can watch that.
Folks, thanks again for tuning in. We're here. We'll be here after rain or shine. We will have a post-game show. Talk about what we saw, and hopefully we saw a lot of good things that Steve and I mentioned earlier today. Thank you so much for following us here in the Fanatical Elfz Network. Make sure to subscribe and follow us on Apple and on Spotify. Every time you do that, if you download our shows there, every time we get a new show, if it's Steve's show, Dog Pound South, or my show, the Johnny Cleveland Show, it'll pop up. So thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. Go Browns. Here we go, Brownies. Here we go.
Go Browns.
Go. Here we go.